Wait,
Are
what?
we?
Oh my
sweet.
gosh, dude.
Sweet.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Are you? Can they hear you, Jesse?
They're gonna hear me for a minute. Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Jesse, speak and tell them all your
So,
wisdom.
All right. So today, Static did his countdown. Apparently, he's doing the countdown today for my band.
Yeah, I picked to do the countdown instead of Jesse without his acknowledgement. I just went and did it, actually.
And so I'm like, all right, I'll play along. You guys are live. Oh wait, no, you're not. And then
And now we're here.
And now here you are.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Jesse.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Jesse,
Have a good one. Thanks for joining us on Don't Worry Wednesday,
Much
and
love.
we will see you next time.
See you next time.
Great. That was really short, guys.
It was really hilarious how Ryan just thought, you know what, I'm going to take charge here and do the countdown, even though I don't have the button.
Yeah, I don't have the button.
I don't have control of the button. Like I'm sitting there waiting for like Jesse to just. I'm just gonna leave then.
I'm out of here. You guys can press the button yourself. Drive down the whatever, like is it like 10 hours or something? 12 hours? I don't even know. You can drive down here and press the button on my computer when you're ready to go.
That's amazing. But yes, you are absolutely right, Magician Jester. Ryan's mic is a little bit.
Am I popcorn mic? Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So in that case,
I'll try to fix it.
It's perfect because I actually got to be the host of the show, but I didn't actually say anything for a while because of all the shenanigans with these guys. So welcome everyone to Don't Worry Wednesday. It's the Monday version, which is Don't Muddle Monday. You know what? One of these days, maybe we'll actually put the name of the day of the show in the show description for you guys. That would be fun. But anyway, yep, this is a show where we handle any issues, challenges, or thoughts, problems, whatever you might be going through. You can just feel free to post them in the chat. You can also go to our website, bss.studio, go to the Don't Worry Wednesday section. Princess has posted a link there for you. You can also email us at dww@bss.studio or find us on Discord. Those are all great ways to get in touch with us and send us a topic for this show. We're not professional therapists, counselors, policemen, lawyers. Go down the list of professional professions. We are not them. We just want to be your friend, and we want to help in any way we possibly can to help you through whatever challenge you might be going through. You're probably smart enough to figure it out on your own. However, it helps to have a fresh set of eyeballs looking at a situation. I've always found that to be true because when you're involved in it, you're kind of emotionally bound by it as well, and to have an outsider perspective can really shed some important light on it. There have been many times like that. So yep, we got our A team in place: Jesse, Princess, and Senna, and star of the show, Ryan.
It is. Am I still operating on a popcorn mic?
No.
Okay, cool.
Sound like a boss. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Man, I look good at least.
Yeah, you do. You look
better. I got a freshly shaven head. It got some sunburn this weekend.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Don't you live in Michigan?
I do. Yeah. It was actually the sun. The sun found its way out, and it was amazing. Those of you who were on the Double Cup of Joe this morning, you heard the story. We had Taekwondo on the trampoline.
Awesome.
So I'm very lucky that I don't have bruises all over my face because I really took some killer headshots.
I believe it. Wow, that's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun for a kid.
Yeah.
A lot of worry for an adult.
Yes. Well, my 8-year-old could finally get high enough to kick me in the face, which he was super excited about.
So he wanted to show you.
He's like, check this out. Bang! I'm like, oh.
Oh, jeez.
That worked. Good job.
Yeah, great.
But yeah, so how was your weekend?
Fantastic. Yep. Didn't jump on any trampolines, unfortunately, but it was good.
Yeah, that's all right.
Hang out with Jesse and Princess.
Hey,
guys.
yeah, on the Twitch stream.
That's right.
Yeah, you guys can go check out the Twitch stream. I actually didn't get a chance to check it out. I was really bummed. I wanted to do some Potart gambling, but I did not get to do that.
Yeah, that happens. We aren't doing it on Tuesdays or Thursdays anymore because just too many time constraints. Jesse has a lot of work to do and catch up on, and so do I. So it'll be good.
Yes. So what do you say we go down the list?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We got a list of people with topics, and we got a bunch of people here tonight, and so I'm gonna go down the list of names. If you hear your name, just give a quick "What's up with you, Mama Dat?" in the chat, and that way we'll know that you're here. It'd be way easy to just say I'm here, but it's way more fun to say "What's up with you, Mama Dat?" or something, right, Ryan?
Yeah,
it is. Ryan knows. He's smart.
Absolutely.
So here's the list: Sumner Kagan, John Doe, Man Left Behind, Eric Bodine, Caffrey, Rain Knight, Martin, Mark Anthony, Rosie, Wheatley, or Galdor. And that's our list for today. And some of you I know I've seen. Hey, that's I knew I saw you in here earlier, Martin.
Hey, Martin.
Welcome back.
Yo, I'm here, peeps. Sup, Martin?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, and Galdor's here too. All right.
Galdor, perfect.
Fantastic. So we got a few of you here. Welcome, guys. So it looks like Rosie can't say that thing.
Joe, can you please for me just read Galdor's "Yo, what's up, your mama dat?" Very carefully.
Hey, was dope do so dope Juada. Juada.
That's right. Juada.
Or maybe it's Juada.
Ooh, maybe it's wow.
Hey, you know what? That's
I tried. No, that's awesome.
That's what it is.
That's what we were hoping for. The first time we did this, like everyone just dropped "Yo, what's up, your mama dad?" into the chat, and everyone just said, I'm pretty sure they just smashed their fingers on the keyboard like this and said that was what it was. Yeah. So we went through and we read them.
If it would have been on Skype years ago, you would have seen a pencil breaking.
Yeah, that's right. So no, yeah, we appreciate your attempt, and actually the more obscure almost the better, because that was perfect. It's beautiful.
Hey, what's up with your mama dad? Hey, what's up with your mama dad?
Hey, what's up with your mama dad?
Yeah, hey, good job. Rosie, you did type it. See? You can do it.
You got it.
Right. Fantastic. So, all right. So we'll start with Martin. The link is there. Princess has posted the link in the chat for you guys. And she did it again.
She's awesome.
She did it twice. Man, oh man. Now I've got two Martins.
Yeah, you better open it twice.
I did. It's awesome. So, yes. All right. So I'm going to read. You guys can read along. And here it goes. This is called Feeling Like a Bother and Overthinking My Future. And it says, hey, everyone. Sorry about being back so soon. Because of this whole COVID-19 stuff going on, I have been able to maybe think too much, and it's making me doubt myself as a human being, not being good enough. I'm first starting with my college future. I'm in my final college year at the age of 19, and I'm barely scraping by my study application media developer and cybersecurity. My issue is that I'm not sure this is the right choice for me. This is also due to me not being useful for my internship work location and doing private work I needed to outsource because I wasn't able to do it on my own. I'm thinking maybe another career choice would be better for me, but I don't know what. And about feeling like a bother because all of this Corona stuff, and I've been trying to message certain friends because I've been feeling pretty lonely. I'm afraid I'm doing it too much and it's annoying them and they don't want to talk to me anymore. Any tips on how I can challenge these feelings and how I might look into a different degree if that's the right choice? With kind regards, Jojo. Who? Oh yeah, okay. Is it Jojo or is it or Yo? I don't know.
Oh,
Oh, Beutenzorg.
Buitenzorg.
Buitenzorg.
I think.
Yes, that's the name on the
Yeah,
BFSS
yeah.
video. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. You might.
Buiten? Who knows?
Yeah, it's a cool name though. I like it.
Yeah.
So
it's quite tough one to pronounce.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, just whatever you want. It's Dutch. Okay.
I was saying it'd be something like that.
Yeah, cool. All right.
I was thinking European of some sort.
Yeah, thank you for the topic, Martin, and I can definitely empathize with you here because I have always been an overthinker and also one of the types when it's easy to go down that path. I especially can relate to the thing about your friends and being afraid of like, oh no, did I do this wrong? Now maybe they don't want to talk to me, and kind of going down that path. I've it's like I've done that so many times, so I definitely know how you feel, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for where you're at because that's not any fun. But at any rate, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan because he is wise beyond his years. I mean, look at him. He's only like 20 years old, and he's like so wise. He's like wiser than a Budweiser.
Joe, I'm 30.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Okay, well, because I'm not very wise then either. No. All right. No, I appreciate it, Joe. So I'm forever 20. My gosh. Yeah. Jojo, Martin, however you want to be called. This is an absolutely relatable topic here. I think we've all felt to some degree being a bother to our friends and also being in that position of like, oh geez, where do I go from here? This is my life and I'm not sure I've taken the right path so far. Do I switch? Do I change my career, occupation, etc.? I've been there before. So when I was in college, let's see. When I was in college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I tried a few things. Mostly I tried 3D animation. I tried coding, like so C, C++, etc. I tried, I don't remember what else. They made me take math and science and stuff like that. I don't remember all the things I tried. I did some music stuff. And I'll tell you what, none of it was very satisfactory for me. Even the music stuff. I remember I took piano class for a year. I also took a music history class and whatever they had at the college. And none of it felt like it was really up my alley, to be very honest. And I think that's normal because there's a difference between school, education, a job, a career, and a purpose. There's those are like 4 different things that interlap, but they're different. So, first one, you go to school, right? You go to school and they give you your homework, right? And they give you your assignments and it's all for you to learn. When you go out there and you go from schooling to a job where you're doing that stuff, it's completely different. It feels different. Why? You're doing what you're doing in a progression. You know what you're doing. You've had experience in it and you've done it many times, a lot of times in the job. Even if it's being creative and coming up with new ideas, it's still something that you've been doing for a while. Like after you start your first job and you're like, hey, we'll teach you how to do your job. And then you get going doing your job. And that's the way it usually works. You obviously need in some professions, you need some schooling to know like background of like, oh, this is how I do this. This is how I do this, especially for programming, or being a doctor and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But a job is very different than schooling, because in schooling, they give you a task to teach you. In a job, they give you a task to produce or to increase or to move a product or to make a product, to do something that actually enhances other people's lives other than you, right? A career is different also. A career includes the job and the school, right? But a career is a path, right? That's why we call it a career path. A career is a path. It's having a passion for all of these things and being willing to go through the annoying stuff to continue that path because you enjoy the path. Not because you enjoy necessarily the job or the action, but you enjoy the path. So that does include some of the tasks that you do. And then you have a purpose, right? A purpose is altogether very different from that. A purpose, yes, you need to do action to fulfill that purpose. And that action may be what you consider a job. It may be doing the coding stuff. It might be doing art stuff. It might be doing anything, right? But a purpose is fueled by a desire to do something that is greater than yourself. It's when you get that idea of like, hey, I can make a difference and therefore I will. And I know I will. I just have to do these things and that will fulfill my purpose. I think of all of these things, purpose is the most fulfilling one. It makes us feel and it gives us the energy to pursue something. So when we're fueled by a purpose, it makes the career path make sense, right? So if you have a purpose, we're like, okay, this is what I want to do with my life, right? Then that allows us to look at the career path and go, oh, this makes sense. I can be fueled to do this. It makes us look at the job with a heightened sense of vigor, with this heightened sense of, hey, let's do this because it aids this. Because I don't mind doing this hard work, even if it's annoying. It's not as annoying. I can go with a positive attitude because I'm being fueled by my purpose, which fulfills me. And lastly, the education for the job is, of course, then also brought into a invigorating light, a sense of, yeah, let's do it, because it makes sense. I want this. This is my passion. It makes sense to go through these studies, even though the studies are very different than doing a job. It makes doing the studies make sense to us. So I would say a lot of times in life, society has trained us to look at the world backwards. What I mean by that is this. We grow up as kids, we get an education, and then we're told, hey, figure out what you want to do for a living, right? What kind of job do you want? And then once you identify that, they throw you on a career path. And then from there, they're like, oh, yeah, that's where you're at. And then a lot of times they don't even get to the idea of a purpose. And if they do, they look at the purpose through the career path or the job that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really backwards. And it causes us to go down many different paths trying to figure out what are we doing with our lives. It causes us to have to endure something without having the satisfaction of endurance being built, because we're just doing something aimlessly without the feeling of fulfillment, without the feeling of purpose, without like, why am I even doing it? So, Jojo, what I would recommend is this. Go the path that makes sense. Do the opposite thing. Figure out purpose first. If you figure out your purpose, that'll help you identify what kind of career path you want. That'll help you identify from that career path, what kind of job do I want to do? And then from that job, what kind of education do I need? Does that make sense? See, it like logically makes sense when you look at it that way. But in our society, we always lead with education first in this broad, huge spectrum of education, which is important. It is good. We do need education of many different types. But if we look at all of this types of education, we get education, this. It starts to wear us down, and we look at education as a nuisance to us, as opposed to an opportunity, right? because if we don't have anything to attach the education to, it makes us feel like, yeah, we should be doing this. This does make sense. This is making me stronger. I'm like enjoying this because I'm passionate about doing this. And my passion is fueled by my purpose. So yeah, Joe, I hope that makes sense. So I would say the first thing you need to do to figure out where you need to go with your life, because that's where you're at right now. You're like, okay, I've done all this stuff. I've got an education. I feel like I'm not good enough. I'm doing a job that I don't feel like, I'm not even sure if I want to do this on this career path. And you're like, where am I? Totally relatable. This is the journey that I went through and I was told to go on. And it's the journey that Joe went through and he was told to go on. It's the journey that Steve was told to go through. It's the journey that Jesse and Princess probably as well. We're all just on this journey where we're told to do this thing backwards. And a lot of people just leave the whole idea of purpose out of it. But if you just start putting purpose first, you're like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Where am I, like, what are the fundamental things that I can do? So purpose, let's identify purpose real quick. And then I'm gonna move it on to Joe so he can have a chance to talk. Princess agrees. This is her life too. So let's talk about purpose. What is purpose? I really like the way my brother described it. Purpose is like a dream that is bigger than your own life. So, you know, you have dreams, you have goals, you have dreams, right? You're just like, man, one day I want to do this. I want to be this kind of person. I want to change this, you know. A dream or a purpose is a dream like that. That's bigger than your own life. It affects other people and it gives you a passion and a drive. It's something that when you think about it, it makes you go, yeah, I'd really like to do that. I'd really like to help those people, or I'd really like to change the way that works in the world, or I'd really like to blah, 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 right? It's something that you can have an effect on. And it's not necessarily something easy, but it can be. It could be something that you affect. It usually is something that you make an effect on every single day of your life and you uphold to that purpose. But sometimes it's like, maybe you're able to make that effect once a week or once a month or once a year, or maybe it's something you can't even do right now. It's way out there, but you will go to that goal. You will search it out and you will figure out how to get there, and then you'll fulfill that purpose. You know, it might be like Thomas Edison, you know, making the light bulb, right? And you see how much like that did, right? But he had a purpose in mind, and that was leading him down that road. And so he would try over and 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 over 1,000 times before he figured it out, right? That's passion. That passion isn't just driven by education. That passion isn't driven by a job. That passion is not driven by a career path. That passion is driven by a purpose. And that purpose gave him the career path, gave him what to do, the job, and it gave him what? The education to back that all up with. So I encourage you to take that route instead. Figure out, what is it that is your purpose? And when it's something that you'll think about and be like, I like that. I want to do that. That lifts me up inside. So that's what, I know I've talked for like 10 minutes now. I'm going to give it to Joe and allow him to bestow wisdom upon you. Obviously, there are a couple of things I still didn't talk about in this, but I hope that was a good start for you.
You're going to get a chance to talk about it. So remember what it is you were talking about.
Okay.
I have to say, it must be this officially now. It's Purpose Week at BSS. You should realize this. Ryan, it's hilarious because we started a new week at Double Cup of Joe this morning, and it's all about purpose. Like this whole week is about purpose.
Perfect.
Did you see this morning's show?
I actually didn't. Did I just repeat everything you guys said?
No.
Okay.
You repeated some of the stuff we're going to talk about later in the week, though. It's perfect. Like,
nice. I'm trying to set you guys
up. I'm glad to know that we think the same things about purpose. Like, I was like, oh, this is good, you know, because we got the same things in mind. So we're on the same page. Good.
Perfect.
But anyway, so I would encourage you, you know, like to go down that path that Ryan was talking about. If you can catch any of the shows, the Double Cup of Joe morning shows this week, we're talking about purpose. Today tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday.
That'd be
morning
really
7.
smart, actually. That'd probably be one of the best investments you could possibly make. Because if you're in this stage right now and you're like, I don't know what to do, purpose is where what you need. And so if you go that every morning for the next Monday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you're going to be like, you're going to get your education, your expedited education and purpose, so that you can figure out, what do I want to do? What is this purpose? I think that would be really great. That would be one of the smartest things you could do. Now, if you
Mhm.
can't catch the show, you can always watch the replays of it.
Yeah, you can totally. Like, you don't have to be there live. It's great. It's great to have people live. It's great to have you there. We can interact with you in the chat and have a good time and everything. But if you can't make it because time constraints or whatever, it's totally fine. But I think some of that would be right up your alley, and definitely what Ryan was talking about. And I do have to say, Saule.
Yeah, awesome, Saul.
I saw your comment. You were right. It was the Three Amigos. The movie. I made an obscure movie reference, and you got it right. So I was very impressed. But anyway, we have a lot of fun. But yeah, like what Ryan was talking about, that's totally it right there. Like, so as you're trying to figure this out, trying to detect your purpose, trying to figure that out, because it's not necessarily all just something we pick. We do get to decide a lot of it, but it's also something we detect about ourselves. It's kind of like, I like to look at it as like digging for gold or mining for precious metal or something like that, because really it's in you. It's there, and it's just about trying to find it, because there are things you like and things you don't like. There's things you're drawn to, and all that has an impact on what your purpose is. Like all that kind of, you are built for something here. You're here for a reason, and there's some gap that you need to fill. And like our whole life, we're trying to figure out, where's my spot? What gap do I fit into here? To kind of fill that. And what Ryan was talking about was so important, because it's like, it's bigger than just you. Like, a dream is great, and we're going to talk about that in detail tomorrow. Dreaming is kind of like the first step. Like, this is how you get started moving down this path, right? And so you kind of figure, oh, what do I want my life to look like? What kinds of things do I want to be doing? Like, what's my ideal day look like? And that's a very important one, especially if you're thinking about career path. If you're thinking about, like, what do I want to do for a job? Because that's going to be part of it, right? What do you want your days to look like? Time do you want to get up? What time do you want to go to bed? What time do you want to eat lunch? What do you want to have somebody telling you when that is, or do you want to decide it for yourself? Like there's all kinds of different things you can think about. How do I want my life to look like on a day-to-day basis? But even then, even if you end up with some kind of a job or a career or whatever that's not specific, it's not specifically seeming like it's feeding your purpose, surprisingly enough, when you get beyond that section of your life, because a lot of times, I mean, I've had lots of different jobs. Ryan has known me for many years, and he's seen me have numerous different jobs, that I've worked at. And interesting thing about every single one of them is not, I wouldn't consider any of them to be something that fits into my purpose. But every single one of them gave me something that I could use for my purpose. So no matter what you're going through or what you're studying or what you're working at, there is something in there that you're going to be able to take with you to help build your purpose. And it might not be obvious until after you're done with it and you've moved on to the next thing. And then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I had that experience back then, because it totally prepared me for this that I'm going through right now. But I had no idea what was happening at the time. And you'll pick up key bits of insight for that, which is awesome. So I think I think you would do well to just listen to what Ryan had to say again about purpose, and how to and kind of how that breakdown is, because he's so right that in these moments when you're a little bit shaken, and you're kind of like, is this what I really want to be doing? Is this what I'm really supposed to be doing? One of the things that's going to lead to a lot of insight is if you can start to figure out what direction your purpose lies in. And I say it that way because, I mean, I'm old and I don't have my whole purpose figured out. I know what direction it lies in, I know where I'm headed, but I don't have all the details figured out. I don't have it all like mapped out yet. I've I've cleared it up more now than I had, years ago, but I think it's a consistent effort for our entire lives determining what this is. And I think we never really fully realize it. It's just it's constantly, evolving, if you will, and it's fun because it's always something new. There's always something new to shoot for. There's always something new to try. There's always, another thing to latch onto and try and make real. And it gets to be an exciting journey. And you start to realize that the journey is really what it's about. Our journey is gonna be filled with good and bad, and sticky spots, and bright shining moments, and there's going to be all kinds of that stuff mixed into your journey. Right now you're at this crossroads, kind of confusing spot, right? And you might be kind of like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, where it's like, I have no memory of this place. And then all of a sudden you pick a path and it's like, oh, you remembered. And it's like, no, the air doesn't smell as foul that way. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to go the way it doesn't seem the worst. So that's totally that could be right where you're at. And so I got to tell you, I'm proud of you for facing this moment. And to touch on the thing with your friends, we're all shaken right now. We're all in this mess of a pandemic. And to be a friend is to reach out sometimes. But just because they don't answer right away, there are so many things that could be going on that are the reasons why. It's pretty likely that it's not because it's you. Most of the time, if I send a message to somebody and I don't get a response, or if I send a bunch of messages and I don't hear back, my mind starts to go down this trail of, oh man, they don't like me anymore. They're upset. They're frustrated with me. I need to just stop talking. That has nothing to do with it. They are there with their life. They're dealing with something going on. They've got all kinds of stuff happening as well. And they just couldn't get back to me. That's probably that more times than not. That's been the case for me. Whereas like that they were just dealing with all kinds of craziness and they couldn't get back to me right then. It had nothing to do with me or their opinion of me. They weren't even thinking about me because they were thinking about dealing with all this other stuff they were dealing with. So I think, one of the things I've had to learn is to give people a little bit of patience, and just be like, okay, you know what? People got their own lives that they're dealing with and their own struggles and challenges. And, maybe they're just dealing with all that and they can't get back to me. So With that, I'm going to turn it back to Ryan. Ryan, what else do you have on this topic?
Sure. One thing first I want to say is everyone in chat, thank you so much. Absolutely. You guys are talking about different things and purpose and stuff like that. Senna, I love your statement. And Tara, I relate to you so much. And yeah, absolutely. You know, purpose is one of those things that is kind of like ever changing. You know, sometimes it's a lot of little things that add up to something big. And we can't always necessarily say that our purpose is one thing forever for our entire lives. It changes. You know, when you have kids, your purpose is very specific towards filling those kids with courage. So for their life, with education, with food, you know, nurturing them with the right kind of attitude and wisdom, religion, and so on. You know, that's different than when you no longer have kids and they grow up and they're out of your house. Now you have a different purpose.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, purpose is an ever-changing thing, but it. But anyways, I'm not going to speak any more on that. Jojo, I just hit up the morning sessions that Joe has to offer. Joe and Joe both have to offer you, Jojo,
Did you see the
a double
update
cup of Joe.
about the friend thing?
Yeah, I was actually about to read that.
Okay, perfect.
So Martin, you posted two things. My issue is I chose a degree in something I loved in my spare time, but college just made me lose all love for it. Making small game projects, making my own test sites, and etc. Totally understand. One of the there's multiple reasons for that, Martin, slash Jojo, but the main reason is when you do that, there's no progress. Because you're doing it all for an inner progress to learn. Some of the stuff you learn quickly, some of it don't. Some of it they go about it in ways that are not just not enjoyable, right? They're giving you homework to no ultimate necessary progress, right? You're not doing something to create something new. You're not doing something to add something into the world. You're not doing something to give yourself. See, a lot of times what makes us feel most fulfilled is when we can give ourselves, because then we can see what we've done in the world and look at it and go, wow, I did that. That's fulfilling, because then we've taken ourselves and we've given everything we had to do something, but yet we still remain full. It's interesting the way that works. When we act as a gift to the world and we give, we don't actually lose anything. See, most of the time when you have a present and you give it, you actually lose it. Like a pair of shoes is like, I own a pair of shoes, but I'm going to give this pair of shoes away to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Right? You no longer have those pair of shoes. But when we give ourselves, instead the return is fulfillment. And you can't really do that at school. So when you can't really do that when they assign projects and stuff like that, it just doesn't, it's just unfulfilling. And it makes us start to just despise it and hate it. And just, so don't, if you used to like it, if you used to love it in your spare time, don't quit. Because there will come a day when you're no longer being forced to do it for no reason. There will come a day when you can use it as an extension of yourself, to give from your talents, to give from your knowledge, and that will be fulfilling again, and you will begin to love it once more. So if you used to like it, you can go back to liking it. Now, I don't know where your life's going to go. I can't guarantee that statement, but I can say from my own experiences, that is pretty true. And then, so it's been 10 days since you posted this. I'm going to try to wrap it up in the next 5 minutes here, but it's been 10 days since you posted this. And one of the things you said is your relationship with your friend. The friend thing kind of escalated to the point where one blocked me, and that one was one I didn't speak too often with. Yeah, kind of like Joe said, people are people. You have to be patient with them. Sometimes they're going to be irrational. Sometimes they're going to be irrational and they're going to come back and be your friend. Sometimes they're going to be irrational and they're going to leave and they're never going to come back. People are people. Your friends are those who are on your side, right? And we talked about this before. An enemy is someone who's against you. An enemy is someone who stands against you or a cause or something you're trying to do. A friend is someone who stands with you. So if you have someone that just excuses them from yourself, they're no longer a friend. They're not an enemy. You can still be their friend, but they're not choosing to be your friend. And that's the thing is, a lot of times people go up and say, will you be my friend? It's not an incorrect statement, but really you have no choice about what they act like. You only have control over what you act like. And so at times like this, where you feel like your friends may be a little bit distant, the best thing you can do is two things. One, try to approach them because there could be a reason they're being distant. They could be depressed. They could be going through something in family life. They could be just completely down and empty inside and just like, I don't know what to do right now. I just don't want to talk to anybody. So it's important to be by their side for that. And if you kind of gauge the situation, you're like, okay, that's not really how they're feeling. They're just busy or they just don't really want to hang out. Then do option 2. Be their friend. Be on their side. And sometimes being on someone's side means leaving them alone. Sometimes being on side means excusing their faults. Because we all got faults. We all make mistakes. We all do stupid stuff. And as a friend, you kind of have to look at that and go, I care about this person and I want the very best for them. I don't want to disrupt that. They've got their faults just like I do. I just have to be patient and they'll get through it. And I'm on their side. I'm not going to point their faults out to them, but I'm going to be here for them when their faults cause issues in their life. And then try to move them forward through it the best I can. You know, being a friend is about being a support for someone, right? And so sometimes, yeah, you need to be a bother. Sometimes you do for them. But also, there's another side of that coin. And that is being the person who is befriended, being the beloved, being the befriended. And that is you have to be willing to let your pride down so you can accept the help of others. If you imagine you've got friends and you want the best for them, but they're just closing you off, right? Because of they don't want to bother you. They don't want to look bad, right? And you try to approach them, but you cannot help them because they put this wall in front of you. That's the, hey, I don't want to be a bother wall. Then you can't help them. You can't be their friend. Sometimes you have your own wall. You have your own, oh, I don't want to be a bother. And you have to break that wall down and say, it's okay if I don't always look like the champion. If it's okay if I have to let my pride go. It's okay if I have to be a bother. Because they want to help me. And I want to help them. And I want to be close. You know, one of the things about life is we can't be close to someone if we don't allow ourselves to be shown. The more we allow our vulnerabilities to be exposed to other people, the more they feel we're human and the more they relate to us and the more we're on the same page and the more we want to help each other and the more intimate we grow in our friendships. So sometimes we just have to excuse our own faults and say, you know what, I am going to be a bother, but that's what friendship is about. It's about supporting each other. So I have to be the one that needs to be supported right now. And that's okay to be in that role. Because you know what happens? It actually uplifts the others. Because when you go to someone, you say, hey, I don't mean to be a bother. And I feel like I'm being a bother. This is my fault. This is my situation. This is where I'm lacking in strength, right? It gives them a chance to be the strength. It gives them the chance to feel like they're appreciated. It gives them a chance to feel like, hey, I make a difference in this person's life. And I appreciate that. Just like when you, Jojo, approach your friend and you help them out, you're giving them that same thing because now they get a chance to help you out. And that makes them feel good. So don't hold that back from people. You want other people to feel good. It's part of friendship as well. You want other people to feel good, right? So don't hold back when it comes to your problems where other people can help you. Because what that does is it lifts them up and increases their strength and your own. It makes you stronger and it makes them stronger. And it makes everyone in that situation win. But you have to first let your pride down so that you can find that mercy and strength in each other. But yeah, we're at like the 30 something mark. So for this topic, I want to give it to Joe in case he has anything to say, but also to close it down.
Yeah, I just really appreciate you, Martin. I appreciate you posting. I appreciate you being here. And whatever you decide to do in either of these situations that you've talked about in this, understand that whatever your decision is, neither one of them is going to be the end of the world. You know, neither one of them. Whatever you decide, it, any of it can. You will still. Your life can turn out wonderfully no matter what. No matter what
That's a
you
very good
decide
point.
in these instances, and it's not going to be a make or break thing. Like, this is all just a journey, and understand also that no matter what you decide, you got a whole group of friends and colleagues here. You know, we're pulling for you. We you know, for all you guys, we pray for you guys. We we love you guys,
Mhm.
and we're so glad that you're here. And this goes to all of you that you can always reach out to us personally on Black Static and Swerve at bss.studio. You send us private message. You can send us private messages on Discord. You can do anything. And like, if you need to reach out to us, do it.
Mhm.
We love having you guys as friends, and it's great. So feel free to reach out at any given time. Um, Private messages if you want, and whatever. But keep coming back. You are loved here, Martin, no matter what. And
Mhm.
understand that, remember it, and yeah, hopefully these will go well for you, and we wish you the best. So thank you so much for the topic, and yeah, don't be a stranger. Keep posting them. So
Cool.
anyway,
Thank you.
yeah, with that, thanks again, and let's see who's next. Looks to me like the next one is going to be Rosie, and Rosie, looks like you're here. You're right
Rosie.
there. Wow. So yeah. Oh yeah, Martin.
JoJo, you
Also,
rock.
yeah, everyone in the chat, you guys, wow, you guys are amazing. I have to say that as well.
Mhm.
So well, you guys are awesome in the chat. So anyway, okay. So Rosie gave a what's up, your mom and dad. It says it looks more like I'm alive than what's up, your mom and dad, but we know that
It
deep down
reads,
it's
it
what's up,
looks
your mom
like
and dad.
that. It like the letters are I am space ALIVE, but it reads, yo, what's up, your mom and dad?
He was up, your mom and dad. Yeah, that's the one. So, and Princess posted the link. It's official. Boom.
Boom.
So click it and go there.
Click clack.
Yeah.
The
It's the
same
same
energy.
energy.
Yes.
All right. So this is called These Times, and it's by Rosie, and you can read along with me. It says, so recently I felt like I've been surrounded by death. It started with my neighbor next to me, then the one across the street a month after, like in December. Then in December, January, my theology teacher passed. Then the virus hits, and there's just deaths everywhere because I live in a hot spot. Now, last week, my uncle passed, and last night, another neighbor passed away.
Wow.
My mom is high risk. My dad is still working. I have various aunts and uncles who are high risk. I have my aunt who's a nurse whose husband is a police officer. It just feels everything is strange. Even I'm high risk because I was born with respiratory issues.
Mm.
Yes. Wow. These are some crazy times. That's for sure, Rosie. Thank you so much for the post. And you're right. It can seem like, man, just death and sadness and darkness can surround us at times. And, like, wow. That even before the whole pandemic, there were a lot of people around you that were passing away. And I'm sorry to hear that, Rosie. I hope that you've been able to sufficiently mourn, and it hasn't disrupted your life too much. But yeah, now with all the pandemic concerns, it makes it even more difficult. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. And hopefully something Ryan will say will be comforting and wonderful. I'm sure it is, because a lot of times when I talk to him, I feel comforted too. So I'm gonna just get out of his way because he's like super amazing.
I don't know about that, but thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
Um, okay. I've gotten the best chance to the best of my abilities. Yeah, that was for the morning. Got it. Yeah, Rosie, first of all, you know I love you. You hold a dear and adoring. You hold an adoring. I adore you. Whatever. I adore you, Rosie.
I thought you were gonna say
So-
you hold a deer. Like,
I hold a deer in my
yeah,
heart.
like how did you catch a deer?
Yeah,
Like,
actually I caught it and then I like with my heart. So I hold a deer in my heart. Mhm.
You hold a deer. Sorry.
So, anyways, I love you too. Awesome. Thanks, Rosie. Yeah, that's like, yeah, just you being surrounded by death. I mean, honestly, people everywhere around you have been passing. That's got to feel weird. That's got to feel super weird, because then it's becomes a thing like, what am I next? Everyone else is going. Even if not, it feels weird because now it's just like people are gone and you feel, I don't know if you necessarily feel more alone, but there might be some of that. Yeah, and you yourself are a little bit more cautious too, because you're at high risk. So obviously in these times you just got to do what you can to make sure that you don't risk anything, right? You don't put yourself in risk. It's important to stay safe in that regard. But I think it's important also to not okay, you know how like people can get cancer, and right, cancer or deathly sicknesses and ailments and so on, and through acts of miracles, through just being with their friends, through being with loved ones, they make it through. And doctors often say and recite the fact that people who have the longest lives are those that are usually closest with friends, have good relationships. People who make it through cancer, the people who have really good friends are higher at that. People who are close and close with their loved ones and who are very loving nature, people who have people to support them emotionally, just generally have a higher chance of living. In the early times of Christianity, one of the reasons it boomed was because at that time, if you got sick, you were exiled by Roman law. But the Christians thought that was harsh and cruel. So instead, they stood by the sick ones, risking their own lives getting sick. What ended up happening is, because of that, there was a higher survivor rate in the entire Christian community than in any other community. And so by nature, those Christians had children, and those Christians had children. And so then Christianity began to spread more and more, just because of this one fact. People who are around loved ones, people who are caring for each other, have a higher rate of survival. Okay. So what I was trying to say before is don't assume you're going to die, right? Have a good spirits about you. If you get sick, right, and you go, oh no, I'm just going to die, you're going to have less of a chance of making it out of it. Why? Because your mind is a powerful tool. And if it gives up, it gives up. It stops trying. When you have a fever, right? When you get sick and you have a fever, that fever is your body trying to burn out and work out the germs or whatever, the virus and so on that's inside of you. When you get sick, you cough. The cough is a part of trying to get it out of you. Your nose drains, everything just leaks. Not because of what's inside of you, but because of your body trying to fix it, right? All this happens because your body's trying to fix it. If you just give up and you're like, yeah, body, don't even try, then your body if your mind is not in a position where you feel like, you know what, let's make it through this, let's survive, let's let's survive for my loved ones, and let's be loving myself and try to make it through this, right? Your body, your mind will tell your certain parts of your body to stop working so hard, and the sickness will take over. Pretty weird, right? But it's true. And the same thing remains true for remaining healthy. If your mind is not in the right place, you're actually more likely to get sick. And that sounds weird. I'm sure you've heard of it, but you can get stress sicknesses. In sicknesses induced by stress. You're so stressed out that you just get sick. Most of those are actually, now there are some things like certain parts of your body shutting down or in creating new things like bowel issues and stuff. But some of them are because your mind is so stressed out that it allows things to come in and start messing stuff up, and your mind is not in the state of fixing it. Your mind is in the state of just freaking out. So it doesn't work. You've gotten stress sickness. Right, exactly. So try to keep your wits about you. Try to keep a happy environment. Try to keep yourself motivated and in good spirit. A lot of that is just attitude. And attitude is something you pick. Remember that, because sometimes something bad might happen and you're just like, right? And you get upset. It's always important to remember that, wait a minute, I can pick my attitude in this moment. And I don't want to be stressed out right now, especially with all the sickness going around. I want to be in high spirits so that if it does come to me, I can get through it. I have a higher chance at least, right? So when something happens that we don't like, instead of getting stressed out, we have to take a moment, take a breather, maybe step aside if we can, and just be like, all right, attitude. You know what I do, Rosie? I know that you are of the same faith as me. I just go in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Come, Holy Spirit, come. Help me with my attitude. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Simple. Right? Quick, easy. If you can make it even faster, just say, come, Holy Spirit. Or, Holy Spirit, help me with my attitude. You don't even have to do the whole prayer. You don't even have to do the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Like you just have to say it. Because what happens is your mind starts getting in the right place to allow your attitude to change. And that allows the spirit to heighten your spirit. All right. So that's important. That's my main go-to. Whenever I recognize, hey, my attitude is not the best right now, I have to take a step aside, say a quick prayer, and I come back, and I'll tell you 100% of the time it works, which is weird. I can't guarantee that's going to be 100% for you, but I can tell you it's been 100% for me. The Holy Spirit is my best friend because the Holy Spirit is what makes me look good. Anything like, wow, this guy's wise, he's smart, he's intelligent, right? Wow, no, it's the Holy Spirit. He's got a good attitude, and it's the Holy Spirit, I'm telling you. But anyways, Holy Spirit is my best friend, and I think the Holy Spirit wants to be everybody's best friend. Regardless, ultimately what I'm trying to say here is, yes, you're surrounded by death, and you never know when you're going to die, and it's okay when it happens. All right. But while we're alive, let's make it the best we can. Right? It's important. Life is important. A lot of religions make life all about death. Like, hey, we're going to live our life so that we can get to the afterlife. But one thing that's beautiful about our religion, Rosie, is that's not necessarily what it's all about. Because we're here and God is here with us. The choices we make here are important. They affect everyone around us. This is a beautiful life, but we have to make sure we see it as beauty. We have to make sure we see God in it, right? So I know I'm being really religious right now. And I'm sorry to everybody who's not, but I know that this helps me with the whole concept of death, because that's really part of what religion is about. So it's important to just go, let's have a high spirit. Yes, all these people have died around me, and it is sad, and I can pray for them, but let's have a high spirit myself, because I'm still on earth. I still got a chance, and let's make it worth something. Let's make it, let's do something awesome, right? Now, we might not know what that is right off the bat. Like, I don't know what that awesome thing is, but here's the thing. Your life still continues. So you're going to find it. You're going to find out what that awesome thing is. And it might even be something in simple things like we talked about earlier with purpose. It might be something simple just today where you can help someone out. You can make someone feel good. You can spend a few moments in prayer helping somebody out and they don't even know about it because you prayed about it and they never talked to them, right? There's so many opportunities for you. I think it's important to just try your best to be in high spirits. Anyways, I'm going to move it over to Joe down there. And hopefully he can give you a little bit more information on this, a little bit more high spirits and help you out, feel comfortable and everything like that. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have to say that, first of all, thanks, Ryan. And second of all, I'm not sure. I don't know what fresh baked blondies are.
Oh,
I'm
that's a type of
curious to
brownie.
know. Are they, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Instead
like
of a brownie, it's a
it's a
blondie.
blondies. Ah,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. No,
Man, that
that
sounds so
sounds
good.
great. Yeah. Wow, that sounds amazing. So yeah, I just I heard a quote recently that was it's the simple things in life that are the most extraordinary. Like Ryan was talking about, that simple prayer does so much. Like petting your dog, that connection with an animal. An animal that one thing that's great about dogs is they look at you and they just love you. Like when it's your dog,
Yeah, that's true.
they just love you. That's their whole reason for being there. They're just like, I just love this person. I love this person. Like almost to the point where it's annoying sometimes. But it's great. And but it's those simple things. And one thing, I mean, Ryan talked about his simple prayer about just come Holy Spirit. There are times when I just sit there and I just say to myself, I'm actively connecting to my creator. And I'll just take a moment. And when I say that, there's like a physical feeling that happens to me.
It sounds epic, dude. Just saying that, it's like, sounds cool.
I'm actively connecting to my creator, to the creator of the entire universe. I have an active connection with the creator of the universe. And you can do that even if you're non-religious. You don't have to be a Christian to believe that something created the universe. And if something created the universe, that same something is sustaining the universe, and therefore we all are connected through that universe. And if something was smart enough to create all this stuff, they're pretty dang smart. They probably know how to help you figure out your problem. And one of the things I recently heard also was if you have a problem and you think it's like a hopeless problem, the truth of the matter is we live in an infinite universe with infinite possibility. And the farther we look, the farther we look into the universe, and the deeper we look into elements and everything, it just seems to go on and on and on forever. So with an infinite universe of infinite possibilities, there is an answer. There is no such thing as a hopeless situation, because there's infinite possibilities. And so really to get stuck in the mindset of I have a hope, I'm in a hopeless situation, that just means I just don't understand reality, because I don't understand the infinite nature of possibility. But at any rate, Rosie, I love what Ryan was getting at, and I love that you're taking the time to do some of these things that are simple, because those simple things are therapeutic. One of the things that Ryan was hitting on that I thought was so important was the importance of our health, the importance of our mental health, the importance of our physical health, all of these things, the importance of our spiritual health, all these things like combined, they You know, they make us a whole person. And with all that, you know, the health of all those areas of our lives put together, that creates something that can resist disease, can resist sickness. And when we're not healthy in one of those areas, it makes us more susceptible. And he's so right. Mentally, you know, if we have something going on mentally that's, you know, not healthy, then that can manifest itself in a physical sickness. And the same goes with spiritual. It's all connected. And I know in this day and age, it's amazing to me because there's so much talk about physical health these days. You hear about all over the place. It might be because of the coronavirus, maybe. I don't know. But it seemed like it had been going on a lot before that. But everybody was always focused on weight, like my physical weight, you know, and that was their definition of health. And it's like, that's not the only indicator of health. Like, seriously, like, there's so much more to a healthy person than just how much you weigh or your body composition or whatever, you know, like there's so much more to that. But like the thing I was trying to get at is, with all this talk about it, we still, in America at least, you know, we're so unhealthy physically. We're so fixated on it, and yet we're so bad at it. Like, it's like we've been misinformed. Hint, hint. So here's one thing. There are some things to be able to focus on. Physical health, like our full health, physical health, mental health, spiritual health, all that. The better we can get there, the more we will be able to resist, you know, hardships in any of those areas, really, because they're all connected. So, I don't know if you do any exercising, but I know for me personally, and you guys that have been here before, I'm sure you've heard me talking about it all the time, you know, because I talk about physical exercise. Because seriously, I know for a fact, when I have a mentally challenging day and I'm just whipped from that day, right? I know the best possible thing I can do is exercise, because it's going to clear my head. It's going to clear out all the junk. You know, it's going to give me something to do. It's going to release a whole bunch of pent up energy, whatever is going on, and it's going to make me feel better about myself because I actually accomplished something. And it's really like, it's so beneficial. It just makes you stronger as a whole. And so I would encourage you, especially, man, when stuff's going on that's super hard like this, and it's all coming at you, the temptation always for me is, I just want to do nothing. I just want to turn on Netflix. I just want to whatever, you know. And there's a time for that. Don't get me wrong. I do that, and I take that time for sure. But I also know myself well enough to know that when I'm really feeling stressed or down or whatever, the best thing I can do is exercise. Funny thing is, I was talking to my father-in-law this weekend, and he has been off of work for a few weeks because of the whole pandemic and everything. Like, and his work is very strenuous. He's used to doing very strenuous work, moving things around and cleaning up stuff. And like, I've worked with him sometimes, and man, those days I'm always sore and exhausted, and he just goes at it like he's a beast. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. And then, like, all of a sudden, you know, so he's been off work for a while, and so he hasn't been out doing his thing. And like, recently he's had this major like neck and shoulder pain and tension and everything. And like he's calling the doctor, and the doctor's giving him all these medicine, like pain pills and muscle relaxants and all this kind of stuff, right? And I'm sitting there talking to him this weekend, and I'm like, you know, it seems bizarre to me because so what are they are they telling you to like do anything? Are they telling you to rest? What are they telling you to do? He's like, oh, they're just telling me to take this medicine and put heating pads and ice packs, whatever, like alternate stuff. And I'm like, are they telling you to do anything physically? And he's like, well, not really. I'm like, seriously, like, think about this. Let's just think logically. Look at your lifestyle. You are used to such strenuous activity, like all the time, right? And all of a sudden you stop. What do you think your muscles are going to do? Of course they're going to tighten up and tense up and be all crazy, like, and be painful and everything. Of course, because you're not doing anything. I bet you when you start doing stuff again, when you start working again, this is all just going to go away. You don't have to worry about it anymore. and he's like, yeah, it's always been that way, because he's always been, he's always been a very active person. He's a very strength training oriented person. Like, he's the guy who goes and lifts, he puts all the weights on, and just grinds them out at the gym and everything, right? Like, that's his whole thing. And but with that comes, when you stop doing it, everything all tenses up. I know that's the same way with me. If I take more than 1 week off of an exercise routine, my lower back starts hurting, my left, my right, your left, my left, your right, whatever. That shoulder starts to act up. Oh, it always happens that way. And I'm like, and the last thing I want to do is physical activity, because it's going to hurt. But I know that's the only way that I'm going to get better and actually have it be better long term. So that's my spiel on physical activity. Sorry. Hope that wasn't offensive to anybody. But at any rate, just like what Ryan was saying, take care of your whole self. Mental, physical, spiritual. Make sure that what you're taking in your brain is healthy. Make sure that what you're taking in your spirit, how's your prayer life? How's your meditation? Are you doing any of that stuff? What are you visualizing? Those things all feed into this. And then, are you physically active? And what are you, like, all these things combine to create overall health. And the more healthy you are, the more able to withstand, diseases and hardships and everything like that. All of the hardships, you'll be able to withstand them a lot more. So I've talked for way too long. Ryan, please take this from me before I say any more.
Sure. I think Rosie actually does a good job at a lot of these things already. But yeah, it can be tough. Any of these fields can be tough. You said I can't meditate, too jittery. I get it. Watch your diet. Are you taking in a lot of caffeine? If you are, try stopping. But there's other foods that can get our minds running and racing and having a difficulty just calming down.
Be mindful of sugar,
right? Things like that. But just hot chocolate. Hot chocolate has a ton of sugar in it. So there you go.
It's super duper good.
Yeah, it is super good. I like hot chocolate. I mean, who doesn't? But yeah, so that's one thing there. But also, meditation comes with practice. Rosie, if you could right now, obviously right now we're quarantined, so you cannot. The best thing to help you get into the practice of meditation that I've ever found in my entire life is participating in adoration. So you go to a church, they put the Eucharist out, and you kneel on the kneeler for like an hour straight, if you can. Your whole body will be sore when you do that because you're not
Mm.
used to doing it.
Mhm. It
But
will.
but your brain keeps on coming back. Your what you'll find is your brain goes somewhere and then it goes, oh yeah, adoration, and then you start praying and you start thinking about stuff and it goes wandering out, and then it comes back and it wanders away and it comes back and it wanders away and comes back, like over and over and over and over and over. Then you do it again the next time, like a week later, and then your brain wanders less. And you do it next time and your brain wanders less. And so meditation is a talent. Meditation is a talent, just like exercise. You have to start somewhere. And your exercise is not going to be very good at the beginning, but it gets better the more you do it because your muscles get stronger. And the same way, meditation is this, the more you meditate, the better you get at it. But you start off really bad at it. And if you only ever start and then stop and then start and stop and start and stop and like never really give it your all, it ends up just always being you in the very lowest tier of meditation. Like you're just like, I can't do it. Every time I try, I fail. And it's like, yep, I understand. It's kind of like going through the piano and picking 3 notes and playing those 3 notes and then going, yeah, I don't know about that. Like once a week, you're not gonna get anywhere. Piano takes you sitting down at it and playing around with it for like 2 hours straight and going, oh, I think I'm starting to get the idea of it. And then you do it again the next day or the next week or whatever. And then slowly you figure it out. And that's the way meditation is. So if you're having trouble meditating, those are some ideas. You can do that outside of adoration, but you just have to be not focused, committed. Does that make sense? Because right now at this stage, your meditation practices aren't going to be focused. They're just not. But if you can be committed to spending time trying, you'll get better and better at it. Now, obviously, you have so much else going on in your life. You're like, where do I have time for that? Well, you can always make time by giving something else up, but or tight packing your schedule in. But yeah, it can be tough. So I get it. But obviously the whole thing, the whole synopsis, the whole thing, everyone around you is dying and you're trying to be healthy. I think it's important to be healthy in all your aspects of life, and that will make you the healthiest you can to get over any fear of death. And also understanding if I die, it's okay. If someone next to me dies, it stinks. Yeah, my heart wrenches with pain, but it's okay because life goes on. And Rosie, I think you have the right attitude and right thoughts about all of this stuff. You just feel a little bit weird, and I think that's okay. You're feeling a little bit weird about all of it. That's normal. It's a new experience, and it's kind of weird, but that's part of life, you know. So, um, these times will pass, just as you wrote. These times, well, that's what Princess titled it, anyways. These times will pass, and you'll get through it, and life's gonna be awesome. So, keep charging through, Rosie. You're amazing. But that's all I've got, and I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, thank you, Rosie. Thank you so much for the topic, and thanks for being here so we could go through it. That was it's so fitting because of the times we're in, and clearly, I mean, it's called These Times. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to navigate, and at any rate, thank you so much. All right, so moving on. I was a little distracted. My brain's moving in all kinds of different directions. I apologize. I'm not a very good host tonight because my brain is like all over the place. So we've got let's see, we've got time to do at least one more. Let's see. So Cherry, I see you here. Galdor, are you still here by any chance?
Gildor.
All right.
I'm here.
All right.
Sweet.
I
I'm
think,
here too.
well,
We're like twins. We're the same.
yes. This is you have a topic in here. Is it your first topic? I think it's your first one ever.
Mm-hmm. That I remember, anyways.
Yeah. My first one. All right. So, Cherry, if it's okay with you, I would like to do Galdor's first because it's the first one. And yes, you have topics in here, and we will certainly do them. But I would like to do this one if that's okay. Awesome.
Okay,
Sweet.
awesome. Thanks, Cherry.
So we're gonna do Galdor's topic, and Princess just posted the link. You are a wonderful green bean, Rosie. That's great. So, oh, Galdor says, sorry, it's long. It's, we've seen longer. Do not worry about that. So this is called Recognition and Hobbies for Fun. And it goes like this. For a few years, I've been indulging in a lot of creative hobbies. One in particular has taken up a lot of my time recently, which is writing. Not long ago, I joined a Discord server about writing and about writing of a very specific genre. Excuse me. For years, I published and was complacent with very little attention, which is what I expected. It is just a small time hobby after all. In the last year or two, this has grown and I've gotten a bit more attention from it, which is a nice bonus as I write for my own entertainment and not for the statistics. There's a particular set of readers who write back to me on all my stories and they all say it's really amazing. And I can tell that their compliments are heartfelt. That's awesome. Just let me say that.
That's awesome.
When I joined the server, a few people recognized my publishing name and were happy to see me, which was also brilliant. Here's the problem. As time passed, people talk a lot about some specific stories by authors who've been there for much longer than me, who are obviously a lot better because of their experience. This is fine. I didn't join the server here to hog the spotlight. And if they've all known each other, then so be it. However, as time passed, the attention I loved that when I joined completely disappeared, and people barely register my presence when large groups are talking to each other on the Discord chat. People talked a lot about a few specific people's stories and never about mine. While this breaks my confidence, I guess it's still okay. It was only when, with this in mind, I started writing a new story to tend to this new Discord group and try to make a name for myself that I put hours and hours and hours into it and got absolutely no attention at all, did I realize I was feeling jealous. That was the turning point. I was supposed to write to improve my skills and for fun, but I'm getting increasingly hurt by the fact that, despite my best efforts, no one in the Discord server even read what I wrote or pays me attention as one of the people there who actually had written the most. It's the fact that no one knows or cares about my stories in that specific group that hurts me the most. The talks I have with people who comment on my stories aren't on that Discord are still really nice though. I understand the solution is to leave the Discord server because this problem is making me very, very unhealthy and making me lose sleep. And it's making me want to stop writing altogether. I want to type all of this up on the Discord server and then leave, but I feel like I just want to say that for some recognition. If I left, I would feel like I'm abandoning this and that I'm giving up on becoming one of the better known writers there. But it feels completely, absolutely impossible. They just all know each other so well. Sorry if this was long or if it turned into a bit of an aimless rant, but my point is that my hobby turned into something fun where I didn't care if it got no attention into something where my whole aim is to get attention from it. And the fact that I'm not getting any attention in the Discord is really, really hurting me to the point that threatens my passion altogether. How do you undo this process and turn something fun back into something fun? And how do I cope with no one recognizing me or my writing? That's the main problem right now. It hurts, and I lie awake at night for hours thinking about it, wishing I'd never started writing. Ugh. Galdor, I have to tell you, I feel your pain. I have been in this boat so many times, not with writing, but with music. And wow, I know this spot. Maybe not all the specifics of where you're at, but when I'm reading this, I'm like, oh man, I felt that way. I felt that way too. Oh my gosh, I know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure Ryan's been there too. I mean, he's pretty much just amazing wherever he goes. So
Thanks, Joe. I love you. I love you so hard right now.
So, I would like to
good
give
English.
you a big, huge hug in the face. with
Yeah.
my fist.
Ooh, that's aggressive, but powerful.
Yes. So anyway, thank you for the post, Gildor, and I'm going to turn it over to Ryan.
Gildor, if this is personal information, you do not have to say it, but if I may inquire, can you tell me how old you are or how long you've been writing? That'd be really cool. But yeah, I mean, just like Joe was saying, I relate to this, man. It's super relatable. You know, just to kind of give it, so I'm 17, I've been writing for about 5 years. Okay.
Nice.
So when I left college to be a songwriter, from that moment, I think it was like 9 or 10 years before I got any recognition, to a level where like I made money.
Got recognition for me though.
I got recognition
I was
from
like,
lots of people
hey,
that were close
Ryan,
to
you're
me.
awesome.
I got recognition from Joe. I got recognition from my brother and from a few people here and there. You know, and I put out a CD, you know, and we chose to remain anonymous when we put it out, which was cool.
interesting.
It was actually
Yeah.
really cool. It was the right choice at the time. And when we tried, though, to put out our second album to get some recognition, not because we wanted to necessarily feel recognized and boast our self-esteem, but because we realized, hey, if no one knows who we are, they can't search for us. So they can't get more content from us. So therefore, we're reducing our ability to impact people's lives. So we wanted to put our information on there. Unfortunately, weird things happened. We put the album out and we weren't really allowed to get the recognition we were shooting for. We were not allowed to put our company name on there. So it was like, okay, whatever, move on. And yeah, so if you feel like, you know, writing is not going where you're trying to make it, and you've been trying for years and years, you said 5 years, I get it. Like I said, I was a songwriter for 9 years, and trying hard at it all the time, before my Static P channel came to get any really any sort of well known recognition. And at that time, it was probably another 2 years later before it became above 10,000. So if that gives you an idea, it was like 10 or 11 years before it actually had gotten to a position where it's like, oh yeah, Static P is a decently well-known name. So my point is, there are going to be times when it's not fun. There just are. It doesn't mean you should stop, right? There are going to be times where you're going to do something and nobody recognizes it. I remember I remember when I was a kid, I would put a ton of my work into art. I'm talking about visual art. I would draw all the time, like all day long. Do you know I'm not an artist? Like, I don't do visual arts.
But like
my childhood, yeah, I fake it pretty good. My childhood was all about drawing. Like, what happened there? I guess a couple of things, but I remember drawing pictures and then showing people that I'm like, yeah, look at this. And then they'd all look at it for about 1.5 seconds before looking away. And I knew they didn't get it. I'm like, man, there's no way you spent enough time looking at all the details in here. You missed 90% of it. You saw the picture and you said, oh, that's a nice picture, and you moved on. And you didn't even recognize all of those little tiny details I put in and the hours I spent doing that, you know. But you know what? I see people out there like Rainey, who are artists, who have the same sort of issue, you know. But we look at that and we go, wow, that's amazing. Even if it's just a couple of people that actually look at it and go, wow, that's amazing. And you know what's so funny is people who really don't look at it, still their eyes are drawn to it. Even though it just flashes on the screen for a second, they go, wow, that was a really good artist. That was really good looking. That looked amazing. I didn't quite get it, I didn't examine it, but I know they're really good. It's funny also, I can share in this sort of situation, you know, um, here's something that I learned, and I was lucky to learn it early. And this is the same trap that you fell into, because I fell into this trap too. All right. And I was very, very blessed and luckily not just falling it too long, because I realized it was a trap and then was like, oh, no, I'm getting out of that. Here's the thing. This is a trap that every YouTuber faces, every story writer faces that has any sort of success, any artist that faces this. If you look at Justin Bieber or Britney Spears or a lot of these early talents, they were successful in their early life and they didn't learn this yet. And they went on to be moral sellouts, if you will. Just talking about sex and stuff because it gets the listens, you know. Or just hitting up the drugs, falling dead, you know, like not necessarily just completely dead, but just like emotionally or stably dead, like depressed and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of issue. When you start to have success, there's a point where it can all go wrong. And that went wrong for me for a few moments till I figured out it was going wrong. And I was like, I got to fix that. And this went wrong for you too. So hopefully you can listen to me well and take it with sincerity. Okay. I'm not trying to scold you in any way, and I do not look down on Justin Bieber and Britney Spears. Okay. I don't, because I understand their situation, that what they were brought into. Okay. When you start to have success in something and people tell you your stuff is good, it feels good. Mm-hmm. And that feeling can be addicting. When you start to have success in something and it feels good because people are like, wow, you're really good. Oh, I really enjoy this. What it does is it makes your brain, it triggers the emotion of, like, it triggers the feel good emotion chemicals in your brain. Mm-hmm. And because you allow that to happen, what also subsequently happens is when people don't realize or people don't see something or people make fun of something, your brain gets all hyped up about to release the chemicals, and then it doesn't happen. And so what happens? You had an overproduction of chemicals, and now your brain goes, shoot, what do we do with all this? Let's try to balance it out. Let's try to get rid of these. And then you have depression. You have this, I hate life. Like, I hate doing this. Why did I ever spend any time doing this? This sucks. It's interesting because if we allow ourselves to grade ourselves based on how other people grade us, right? When we give when we give our audience the choice to make about how we feel about what we produced. I write this song and I give it to other people and they can tell me, oh, this song is amazing. This song is amazing. And then one person in the comments says, wow, this song sucks. You know what it does? I gave my emotional control over to all these other people and I allowed them to affect how I felt. And so the people that were like, wow, this is really good. This is really good. I'm like, yeah, I'm really good. I'm a really valuable person. I'm awesome. My product is awesome. What I put out, I'm really good. Like, I'm really smart. This is really great. And then one person says, no, you suck. And then I go, wow, I don't have any value at all. I'm a terrible person. I don't know what I'm doing. All the work that I've done is pointless because I'm actually really bad at it. I've taken my ability to just determine what I feel like for myself, and I've put it into other people's hands and in their control, right? And when I do that, I lose control of not only myself, but I lose control of what I'm capable of doing. I lose control of why I'm even doing any of this. Because then I'm just doing it all to fulfill an emotion, which relies on other people saying that it's good or not. And that's just terrible. I can't control my life anymore. I can't. I just can't control my life anymore because I'm doing everything for happiness, and every part of happiness has to do with what other people think of me. And then if it's what they think of me, it means I have to put out all this stuff. And if I have to put out all this stuff and they say it's bad, then I'm a terrible person. I hate myself. And so I just have to keep on trying to put out more stuff so that I can finally figure out how to be happy in life. So I have a feeling that you've fallen into that pit to some varying degree, right? I fell in that pit before. I've watched other people fall in that pit. So now your question is, how do I climb out? Right? How do we stop allowing other people to determine our happiness? How do we stop putting value on an object that allows that object to determine who we are? Because when I write a song and I put it out there for the world to enjoy, I don't base my value on that song. I don't base my ability to write a song on that song. Why? Because I know I can always produce more. I don't allow that song to determine who I am inside, to determine the amount of work or what other people say about it. It doesn't matter. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not. Some people are going to look right past it. Some songs will go listen to twice and they'll never listen to it again. You know, no one will ever hear it. So I've written songs no one's ever heard, you know,
Even me.
but if even Jeff, or even Jeff, even Joe, even Jeff, even Jesse, even all the J's. Oh my gosh. We have a lot of J's on our group, so we're all so how do I go from this position of allowing other people and what they think of my stuff to give me satisfaction or craving satisfaction? How do I fix that? Right? How do I make writing fun again? And instead of answering it, I'm going to get over to Joe, because I know Joe has a lot of stuff to say, and I've already kind of gone 10 minutes, and I'm sure Joe has a good answer to this as well. So, Joe, I'm giving it over to you, because Joe's going to be really smart.
Yeah, you know, you got. Yeah, I love this. J and R. You know what? It's
and there's a K and an S as well.
There's a K and an S because there's Kyle and there's Steve, and so it ends up being jerks.
Jerks. We're all jerks.
We're a bunch of jerks. So anyway, but I love what Ryan was getting at here, and you guys are awesome. I was tempted too. Senna was in the chat talking about this song "Main Characters," old main character. We did it on a Persona speaker box. That was actually I was so tempted to just be like, I did a bunch of stuff on that song because I did. It was fun.
You did, actually.
It was great. That was a collaborative effort. I mean, Ryan created this song, and then he handed it to me, and he said, "Hey, put some stuff on here." And I was like, "Okay." And so I did, and it was way fun. It turned out all right. But at any rate, one of the things that I found, Galdor, on this, as a musician, I would fall into this trap so much too, and partly because I got pretty good at being a musician early, and I was always kind of the first chair guy. I was always first chair percussion in band, and I was always like the guy. It was between me and another guy, right? We were always like flipping.
If you don't know what first chair means, because you're not a musician, it means basically the top of the area, like you're the best in the group.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're like the section leader
of your section.
Basically.
Yeah. Section leader.
Yeah. So and then, but that recognition does feel good. Like Ryan was talking about. I mean, that it's amazing. And then, but it's like a drug, and it becomes addictive. And then, you count on it. And then the problem is not only when you build your mind up and then all of a sudden it doesn't happen, and so then you have the depression like Ryan was talking about. Not only that, But even if it happens again and again and again, it gets to the point where the same amount of recognition isn't enough. It always has to be more and more and more. Like, and you're in this constant, like, I need to have, it needs to be bigger. It needs to be more, you know, it's like any, I mean, I'm a musician. I played in a lot of bands, and I had kind of an interesting lifestyle for a while, and I've been through many different things, and it's the same as any kind of drug, really. It really is the same, because it's like the first time, you know, you feel the effects, and it's like, okay, this is great, but then next time there you need more. Next time it needs to be bigger, it needs to be better, and you're always chasing that first time, you know. And it's the same with recognition. You know, the first time you get that feeling, it feels great, and then it's like I'm always kind of chasing after that feeling, and it's never as good as the first time. So I always needed to be bigger, and I always needed to be better. And yeah, I understand. It becomes a trap, like Ryan was talking about. And I think you're starting to notice this in your post. I was looking at this, and your head is in the right place here, Galdor, because you're starting to notice that, wait a second, this is ruining my joy in what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, I had the same thing happen to me in sales. When I worked sales for a musical instrument company, like they sold musical instruments, right? And I was a salesman. I was working at the counter doing sales of, you know, art accessories and instruments and all that kind of stuff, right? And we were commissioned. So I'll tell you, the first few months that I was working there, the first while, it was wonderful, and I wasn't looking at my numbers at all. I'd just get my commission checks, and it was like a bonus every time I get commission, because we had hourly rate, then commission on top of that, right? And so it was always kind of like this extra bonus, and it was fun, right? But then I started paying attention to my numbers. And I started looking at my numbers, and at the end of every day, I'd print off how much did I do in sales that day. You know, and I'd start looking at all that, and I was like, at that point, it started to not be so fun anymore. Before, I was just having a good time helping people get what they needed, you know, helping people, you know, sharing my excitement for music with these people. A lot of who I was dealing with were parents of new band students, and with also with kids, like the new band students themselves, like fourth and fifth grade kids, sixth grade kids, you know, and then on up through high school, a lot of people that needed accessories and stuff for their instruments. But it was fun to just help these people and share my excitement, my joy for music, you know, and just to be, you know, there. And it was awesome. But then when I started focusing on my numbers, it wasn't any fun anymore. Then it was just like, now I'm trying to hit, you know, man, I had kind of a crummy day. I need some people to come in. Come on, people, come in so I can make some more money. And it turned into this, you know, drive for numbers, really. That was all. Now, some people love numbers. Like
Some
my
people like
counterpart,
them.
like Joe on Double Cup of Joe. He loves the numbers, right? Because he's an accountant, right? But he has turned that into helping people. Like, he helps people with their taxes, and he helps people navigate that whole system. And he loves doing that for people. And I think that's amazing. So really, all these things aside, these are all just side stories to just kind of give you an example of, okay, I understand where you're at. I know know how you feel, because it's hard, because it's painful, because you take something that's like, wow, this was such a source of joy and light in my life, and now it's dark and it's misery, and you know, it's got this like, it's got this thick film of grossness on it, you know, and whatever. And I think the answer for me, it took me a long time to figure this out. It took me a long time to kind of get over this, and because I was still crave it. I still crave that recognition. I still crave it to the point where I'd be like, you know, I'd try to insert myself into conversations or whatever, right? It still. But I recently stumbled upon this, and I had a really good conversation with Steve, another guy at Black Static and Swerve, about this situation and where we're going as a company and all that kind of stuff. Because for years and years and years, Steve and I have made music. I've known Steve longer than I've known Ryan. Him and I have made music together since, oh my gosh, it's been 15 years that we've been playing together and making music together. And that whole time, it's always been about, hey, we're going to make some cool stuff. We're going to release it. We're going to produce it. It's going to be cool and people are going to like it. You know, we're going to do that, right? And very recently, our mentality has shifted from what can we do to who else can we find to play with and collaborate with. And there's a key in there, because one of the things that made Static P, that channel and that persona, put Static P where he is today, is the collaborations with other people. You look at It's Not Like I Like You, that big, huge hit, the hit single of the decade for Static P.
Mm-hmm.
The first of many. That was a collaboration with Amory. Did you find Amory through other collaborations that you did?
Sorry, say that again.
Did you find Amory through other collaborations? Like, was
No.
Okay.
Nope. She actually, so the way that happened was, she posted on a video. I had produced some videos and she posted on one of them, in the comments section.
Okay.
And she said, hey, I want to, she's like, it's a long shot, but hey, this guy's new and upcoming. I'm going to see if I can, work with him. And so she just put herself like, hey, this is who I am. Would you like to work together on something? And I was like, that's interesting. I'll see who this person is. And we ended up hitting it off, and she was an awesome, beautiful, bubbly lady.
You guys created a great song and are creating some more.
That's right.
Which is awesome. But, you know, like, I mean, there have been other collaborations in there with other YouTubers that he did, you know, for a long time. And I was amazed at that, because it was like, he's really starting to figure some stuff out here. Like, this whole collaborative effort is really kind of a key, because you get to work together with people and both of you increase as a result, right? And I've decided, I was looking at that, it's like, yeah, Ryan and I have done that, you know, where we've worked together on projects and the result was better than it would have been prior, right? Steve and I have done that, you know, where the result was better than it would have been just one of us. And even in writing, while the author, yes, the writer, the main author, that's the name on the book, that's, you know, whatever, and the name on the story. But there are teams of people that go into creating a book. So really, everything we do is going to be some kind of a collaboration. There are always going to be other people involved, more times than not. And in fact, if you say, I'm going to do it all myself, and I just want to do this all by myself, you're limiting yourself unnecessarily and ridiculously, because seriously, you know how much bigger you and everyone else could be. Like, you could create something huge when you have a team of people rather than just yourself. And Steve and I had this conversation, so I'm coming full circle, right? We were having this conversation. It's like, who can we get? Like, how can we take the focus and take it completely off ourselves and what we're doing, and use what we're doing, use our efforts as a way to completely shine the spotlight on another person, on another artist. And you know what happened when we started talking about that? And I started to kind of come to grips with it. And I'm like, wait a second, this could be great. We could become promoters that also collaborate. But if we can put total focus, when I learned that I can put the total focus for a project on another person, I was free. I can't tell you how liberating that is to release yourself of that. Because all this that you're dealing with in here, it's a trap, like Ryan was talking about, and you're feeling it because you're like, the trap of desiring attention, and it feels good to get attention, yes, but rather, I don't know if you have to leave the Discord server you're on. But one thing you can try, the thing I've found to be the most liberating, is to become a cheerleader for somebody else in there. Is to become somebody who puts the focus totally on another person and talks about how great they are and gives another person the attention that I desire. I desire this attention, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to somebody else. And what happens is I have just released myself from that. Because now the focus isn't on me. The focus isn't on how great am I, how much attention can I get for me. Now the focus is, look at how awesome this other person is. And then, so while I'm doing that, I'm promoting another person. I'm saying, look, this is great. Look at how awesome this is. How can I help? How can I contribute to this success of this project, right? And then this crazy thing happens. For me personally, it's music, right? So I'm promoting and helping other musicians as much as I possibly can. And when I sit down and play music, it's fun again. It's just something I'm doing and I'm creating. And you know what? I better doggone well hit the record button because some great stuff comes out when I'm just having fun and when I'm just playing. I can't tell you how many times, like if you're just for writing, it might be a little bit different because you're actually writing, so you have a record of it, right? When you're playing music, you better be recording it, or else it could be lost to the ether forever. You might just create something and then it be gone. But I'll tell you, it's so cool to take the focus off yourself, to put it on somebody else. And you watch somebody else grow as a result. And what happens is you find peace again in your art form. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And you know what then happens too? The person you're cheering on probably collaborates with you to some degree. And it lifts you back up again. You start gaining that attention again. Now, I hesitate to say that because I don't want you to just go and focus on cheering somebody else on so they will reciprocate, because that might not happen.
It's the opposite of the point.
And yes, exactly. The point is to free yourself from the need for the attention. It's to free yourself from that addiction, because that's what it is. It's an addiction. It's a dopamine addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of this whole thing is to free yourself from that. So focusing on another person, lifting them up, breaks that chain, and you're free. And then what happens is when you do get the recognition again, it doesn't really matter as much. It's more of an even keel. It's not such a great rush of dopamine in your brain. It's just like an even keel, because you know you're going to take that energy and you're going to just shove it on another person again in the future. You're going to take it and get rid of it now that you know how to handle it. It's a wonderful thing. And what happens is you raising other people up is so fulfilling, like Ryan was talking about. It is so fulfilling to give that to another, to give to another person, to enrich the world around you, to give yourself is the most fulfilling thing we can do. And speaking of Ryan, I'm turning it back to him.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Yeah, I really appreciate that. It's so true. As you can see, Gildor, we both have our experiences in many different ways in our lives with this sort of thing. And we overcome it. And, you know, you're asking ultimately, how do I overcome it? First thing we do is we identify it. We go, oh, that's what this is. It's us desiring the attention. And when we do that, we give up our happiness. We give up our own control over our happiness, and that's not good, right? So first thing is we identify it. The second thing we do is we stop doing the things that make it happen, right? We stop seeking the attention. So when I write a song, if I look through the comments, right? Okay, this is going to sound crazy to you. If I write a song and I look through the comments and I start reading them, if I start feeling inside joy when they're really nice to me, right? Like, oh, wow, this is such a great song. This is amazing. I really like this, blah, blah, blah. Those, if I see those all as, wow, that adds value to me. If I start feeling like, wow, I'm awesome, right? Or I'm so glad I like that these people like it. You know, it makes me feel happy. As soon as I start doing that, I have to stop myself, because I know as soon as I see one comment that's the opposite, it's going to tear it all down.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's coming.
And it's coming. So instead, when I see those things, what do? I read them and I go, wow, what a nice person. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I go, wow, what a nice person to reach out and say that they like it. And I take this as criticism, positive criticism, but yeah, criticism, like, hey, keep on doing this kind of stuff. We like this. And then when I see the comment of someone who doesn't like the song, I go, that's good criticism. I see what they're talking about. They don't like this part of it, or they, you know, they just didn't enjoy it. And that's fine. Not everybody can enjoy it. It's subjective. All of our opinions are going to be different, right? But I also say, wow, that's really nice of that person to say that comment. Why? Two reasons. One, it adds another comment to the thing, so it kind of lifts up my video and views. And two, it's nice that they put their opinions out there, because that's all the song does. It evokes people's opinions. I put it out there so people listen to it, right? Of course, it does a lot more than that. I mean, of course, it changes the way they think and stuff like that, because they listen to it over and over, and it programs what their thoughts are going to be for the, you know, throughout life if they keep on listening to it. And if they don't like it, that's okay. That's normal. I expect those comments. If I let the comments that build me up, then when I see the comments or that don't build me up, they'll knock me down. If I'm anticipating comments to build me up and I don't get any, I'm just going to start at the bottom, and it's going to be knocked over from I'm just going to fall over. Right? So instead, when I release a song, it's never about what people think of it, other than was this a good decision? Do people like this, and should I continue? Other than that, it's all about, what effect will this have on people when they listen to it? Will I be able to share my wisdom with the world when they hear this song? Was this song fun to write? Was I enjoying it? Do I enjoy this song? Can I share this with others so others can enjoy this song? And none of that has to do with the value of the song or the value of myself. None of that has to do with making me feel happy. right? So again, it's all about perception. So how do you get from, like, your question is, how do I get from this used to be fun to can this be fun again? Um, it's a lot about identifying it and then just saying, you know what? I'm not going to allow that to affect me because I am not the song. I am not this piece of writing. This piece of writing is an entirely different entity than me, and it doesn't determine my value. So if someone says good things about it, someone says bad things about it, or no one reads it, it isn't who I am, and it can't make me happy. The only thing that makes me happy in life is my satisfaction with myself. Who am I? What am I doing with my life? Who am I? And am I a virtuous person? So those are the important things, right? So don't get caught in the trap. Don't allow yourself to be lifted up by others with what you put out into the world. Those are just things you put out, because that's a trap. Sounds really weird, but it's true. So just be thankful when someone does recognize it. Be thankful to them. Be like, wow, that was so nice of you to read that. I appreciate that. That's really cool. Other than that, there's no need for any more comments. There's no need to feel good about it or bad about it. It's all good. Period. It's all just good. Because if anyone reads it, at least you helped or changed or made an effect on some person's life. And if one person was all that was worth it. So anyways, I hope that helps. One last thing I wanted to comment on is you said, I started writing a new story to tend to this new Discord group and try to make a name for myself. That is called good business. So do that. That's a really smart idea. I don't think you should leave the Discord group. Stick with them. But it's okay to try to write something so that it will cater to a specific crowd. I mean, that's what I did with my music. My music was catered to the anime crowd, right? I got all sorts of people that were outside of the anime crowd, but I went and I tried to cater to the anime crowd. Why? Because it's a specific group, and Google Analytics and YouTube algorithm would figure out, hey, I know I can advertise this to this group of people. It was a decision on my part that was mostly a business venture, mostly a strategic business venture. All right. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you try to write a story that caters your Discord group. But do it to make them laugh. Do it to make them smile, not to fulfill yourself. Because you will fulfill yourself outside of the works that you do. Working fulfills yourself, but the actual product that you make can never fulfill you, because you are made for more than just that.
Mm-hmm.
You are more than just that, and you are capable of more than just that. So if you can recognize that, then hopefully you can part your feelings from your works so that your works don't push you down onto the ground and make it not fun. So you don't put your works above yourself and go, this is who I am, and I'm only beneath it, because that's what we end up doing. So hopefully, Gail, just recognizing that will help you start the journey towards having fun writing again. Let us know in the comment section. Let us know how things go in the future. Feel free to update us. We'd love to read that. But yeah, thanks so much, Gildor.
Yes.
I'm gonna give it back over to Joe.
And feel free to share some of your writing with us, please. And if you have already and I just haven't seen it, I could use a reminder of where to find it. But I know me personally, I love reading and experiencing your guys' creative efforts. The artwork, the music, the writing, all of it. I love it. I love seeing what you guys are producing and creating, because there's so many wonderfully talented and skilled people in all these areas, and it just blows my mind to see the gifts that you guys have that you're displaying. So please, you can find me on Discord, or you can find me at bss.studio. Send me a link, send me a private message, send me something, so I can find something that you've written. That'd be wonderful, because I would love to read it and see what it's all about. So do it. But anyway, that's wow. Thank you so much for posting. Thanks for the topic, man. Thank you everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful. That's gonna about wrap it up for this show. And we appreciate you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you guys for going to bss.studio and hanging out there. We appreciate you guys in the Discord, everyone. All you lurkers, we appreciate you guys too. And when you feel ready, feel free to jump in and contribute in the chat as you feel ready. And if you have a topic, again, post it in the chat. Post it at bss.studio. Post it on Discord. Send us an email at dww@bss.studio. We will be back on Wednesday for the Wednesday edition of Don't Worry Wednesday. The OG. That's not it. The original version. OV. Maybe?
Yeah, sure.
OD.
BO.
The original day. But that sounds bad. OD sounds bad.
Oh yeah.
The original garlic bread.
OGB.
Wow.
OGB is the original garlic bread.
Yeah, so it's going to be Wednesday. It's going to be good.
OV.
And Ryan's going to be hosting. It'll be much better hosted than tonight. So
that's not true.
Thank you guys for being here and come back. And also feel free to come back tomorrow morning. Double Cup of Joe show, 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. We will be here where me and Joe we go through some amazing stuff. Tomorrow it's all about dreams and purpose.
Yeah.
It's purpose week. We're gonna have to basically make it okay. Purpose week is the last partial week of April. That's purpose week from now on at BSS.
Yeah, that was
mark it in your Google calendars.
That's in the mornings, not in the evenings, by the way. So.
Oh yes, thank you. 7:00 a.m. Is that what you were saying back there, Jesse?
I was wondering too. I was like, what is he saying?
I was like,
he's whispering it. I was about to type in the chat. I'm like, I cannot understand you, so you're just gonna have to maybe not whisper it. Now I get it.
Is that a cat, or is that Jesse, or is that a sneeze, or what is going on back there?
He was saying AM, but he's whispering it, and I'm like, I cannot think of a word that sounds like AM. AM? AM.
Just the
what
best
is he
thing.
Saying?
All you gotta do, here's the best thing you can do. Just subscribe, hit the bell. The bell will tell you when. You have like a half hour. You have like half hour notice, right? But yeah, if you're sleeping, then you have to be there. Everybody should call Jesse.
Yep.
His number is
1
something.
889-75309. Yo, mother.
But, all right. We'll see you guys later. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Ryan.
Oh, I was just going to say, if you call 867-5309, you'll reach Warner Brothers Studios because they bought that number.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they also bought 555-555-5555.
555.
A long time ago.
555.
Yeah.
Good. Nice. Yep. Well, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. And if you can figure out that reference, then post it in the chat or the comments. Love you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Peace.
Oh, don't forget this.
Oh, sorry.